Rochelle at the Athlete Center. This video is showing a traditional deadlift. So we have other videos showing proper core control and a hip hinge technique. So I advise to watch those videos and master those first. This will be a progression of putting those couple things together. So first thing, we want to make sure that we can keep sort of our rib cage and our pelvis in line. So making sure that our ribs don't sort of spill up or collapse down, or our pelvis isn't tilting forwards or tilting backwards. We're going to try to keep them sort of neutral relative to each other. And you can kind of check this a little bit by making sure that you've got 3 points. So we talk about this in the hip hinge video, but if you're arching one way or the other, you're going to lose one of those points. So the deadlift is a hip hinge that goes a little bit further. So it's called a deadlift because the weight is stopped dead on the ground. So it's traditionally used to pick things up off the ground. Maybe your groceries, maybe your grandkid, maybe a barbell with a bunch of weight on it. So the traditional starting position would be from here, and the bar or the weight, in this case I'm using a dowel, is going to be behind my shoulders. If there's a line straight down from my shoulder, that bar, that weight is just behind my shoulder, a little bit closer to me. Okay? And so if we start from the top, it's going to start like our traditional hip hinge, keeping our spine neutral and our rib cage stacked with our pelvis. We're going to start to send our hips back. Now I'm just keeping a soft bend in the knee. It's a good idea to keep your knees sort of over top of your shoelaces. We don't want our knees drifting too far backwards with this. So keeping our knees over our shoelaces, we're going to send our hips back. And then when we get that bar crossing our knees, then we're going to start to bend them and send them down so we can grab anything off the floor. So if I'm starting from the bottom and I'm using a little bit of weight, that weight we want it to start closer to us than our shoulders. So I'm going to have the weight basically in line with the arches of my foot. Okay, and I'm sending my hips back. And then as my hands pass my knees, I'm going to bend my knees and start to travel downwards. So we'll start with the weight here. I'm going to pinch. Imagine like I'm pinching something underneath my armpit so that my shoulder blades don't drift forward. So I'm blocking my shoulders in that way. I'm going to inhale here and then exhale to come up. And then we're going to control that weight down in the same path. So that weight should travel in a straight line up, okay? We're not bringing it forward at all. It's traveling straight up. And I'm initiating this using my glutes and with some help from my hamstrings. So inhale here to come up. And then controlling down, opposite to what we did on the way up. So sending the hips back, keeping the knees soft over the laces. And then as my hands pass my knees, I'm grabbing my hips and bending my knees a bit more. And that's a traditional deadlift.